Gamers, before we get into the video, I have to give the biggest possible shout out to my friend Ty. Like 30 minutes after I posted my Breath of the Wild video and talked about having lost my Wii Motion Plus, he was at my house with an express delivery of multiple. What a man. Thanks, Ty. It's just a shame he went to all that trouble just for me to play Skyward Sword, far and away my least favorite 3D Zelda game. Wait, Skyward Sword fans, hear me out for a sec. I'm not just going to complain about the motion controls the entire video, though I will touch on them. No, I actually really enjoyed a lot of this game. But there are enough annoyances that, though I played through the majority of the game, I still haven't finished it and don't really plan to. I put in nearly 30 hours, and I only stopped at the Imprisoned 3. For those of you who don't know, you fight this big avocado 3 times, at least. You might fight him some more. I don't actually know. What I do know is that none of these fights are fun. Now, if my only problem was just having to fight the Imprisoned again, I would have stuck it out and seen it through, but after losing a few times, I looked up the walkthrough to see if I was doing something wrong, and I saw that directly after the Imprisoned was a lengthy underwater collection sequence and 2 mandatory stealth sections. Yeah, that's when I threw in the towel. If this final section is actually more fun than it sounds, feel free to blast me in the comments section. But from what I saw, it looked insufferable. Though I didn't finish the game, I still have a lot to say about it. Some general observations are that the dungeons are great, the side quests are unique, the locales are varied and creative, the aiming controls are very precise, general movement has no issues, but swordplay is absolutely abysmal. It often feels like you're fighting the controls more than the enemies. The main gimmick of Skyward Sword is realistic sword control through the Wii Motion Plus. However, I felt the game was often misreading my movements, clearly an issue against enemies that required specific sword slashes to defeat. While I got better at accurately controlling the sword by the end of the game, I still had moments where I failed to hit an enemy, not because I couldn't properly read them, but because the game couldn't properly read my intentions. I recognize it was probably accurately following the Wii Motion Plus and simply reading the movement of my hand as I got into position to slash. However, perhaps the player shouldn't have to focus on gently repositioning their controller so as not to activate an accidental strike, particularly in a stressful battle that requires split-second decision-making and swift execution. People complain about the motion controls all the time for a reason. It is clearly the biggest issue with the game. That being said, some of the motion controls are pretty good. Aiming feels great. It's leagues better than trying to precisely aim with the control stick. Flying on the loft wing feels pretty good as well. It's intuitive and responsive, though flicking the Wiimote upwards to rise can be a little cumbersome. Thrusting the nunchuck to ready your shield and roll is passable. The swordplay is really the main issue with the controls. But if you can get past the annoying control scheme, Skyward Sword does have some fun to offer. I want to make special note of how creative the main areas and dungeons are. It starts off tame with your classic forest and volcano areas, but then you enter the Lanayru region, a desolate desert that can be restored to a futuristic industrial aesthetic through the use of time travel stones. And then you head into the Ancient Cistern, which is a water temple on the surface with a shadow temple hidden on the bottom floor. And then you start playing fucking time travel Wind Waker. Holy shit, this is awesome. Is this Donkey Kong Country? What the? Yo, pirate time, let's go! And then there's the Fire Sanctuary, which is just a standard fire temple. Damn. Still, I really appreciated the creative area and temple themes. Another aspect of the game that I really enjoyed was the upgrade system. I know many people weren't thrilled about this change because it's not really Zelda, but I'm a sucker for this kind of progression. You'll be collecting an assortment of materials throughout the game, little collectibles that can be found in chests or just lying around. Back in Skyloft, the game's main town, you can use these materials to upgrade shields and items and such. This is never necessary, and most of the upgrades aren't even that good, but there's something inherently satisfying about improving your gear over the course of the game. It can be somewhat grindy, but I still enjoy it. A part that I found cool but not very fun was the inclusion of the Silent Realms, which are timed, collection-based stealth survival horror sections. I always dreaded having to do these because I'm not a big fan of stealth sections, but I can't deny that they're cool. They're incredibly tense, a feeling that Zelda games don't achieve very often. While I may not like them, I have to respect them. Unfortunately, Skyward Sword has some massive issues even beyond the controls. It's among the most linear in the series. The game essentially tells you exactly where to go throughout the main quest, which isn't particularly strange for a Zelda game, but Skyward Sword offers little incentive to explore because there's very little of interest to find. NPCs talk for way, way longer than they need to. Please shut up. And then there's Fee, the most annoying companion in the series. She butts in every 5 minutes to tell you information you already know. I get it, Fee, let me play the game. As much as I like parts of Skyward Sword, it has so many glaring issues that I don't think I can recommend this game to anyone, except motion control masters who are also already Zelda fans and have run out of games to play. As fun as some parts of it are, the majority of the game is a complete slog, and shut up, Fee!